You're welcome, ma'am. Your name and what God has done.
My name is Ako. I came from Grand Prairie. I'm here to give God all the glory as the one leper for giving me a transformation in my spiritual life. So I was sick 2 years ago and I had all these symptoms, but the blood test would never show anything. Doctors were frustrated with me. Even one doctor told me, don't come back to my office. I don't have any reason. I don't know what I'm treating you for. I was in the emergency room 6 days out of 7 days. And every time I go there, they were already used to me that they wouldn't even ask my name. They would just print the wristband and put and say, wait for the doctor. And then I started having, during this time as well, I'm having dreams of death, visions of death, seeing myself in a coffin, in a grave. Every time I'll wake up screaming, running to my brother's room, saying, I'm dying, pray for me. I stopped sleeping, basically. I will just stay up all night waiting, because every time I close my eyes, I see myself being buried. And I even had this dream where I saw 3 graves. One of them was mine, and someone said, you're dying on the 25th of May. So I was living in so much fear. I couldn't even be in my house by myself. I couldn't be in the office by myself. And the doctors were saying, okay, maybe you have a psychiatric problem, and if you don't want to try psychiatric medications, then we cannot check for anything else. And I talked to a friend one day, and she introduced me to Koinonia. The first thing she sent me messages that Apostle had preached on fear, and knowing that you're a child of God. So that is how, by listening to those sermons, I became delivered. I started sleeping again. I was so grateful for those sermons. I was like, oh my God, I thought I grew up in a Christian home. I grew up knowing the Bible, but now when I read the Bible, I read it with understanding. And the one message that stood out for me is that they are taken for a pray and none say it restore. And every day I will pray for my restoration. And during that time, just to keep the time short, I had 3 surgeries within the space of 3 months. And that was between January and March. So my income had really gone down because I wasn't working that much. And I'd been trusting God for my tuition fees as well. And I was praying during the April Miracle Service as well. Apostle had said there's a woman watching, because I was actually eventually diagnosed with fibroid, and I was bleeding very heavily. And Apostle has said there's a woman watching that you've been diagnosed with fibroid. They have to remove your uterus, because they had done their first surgery, it wasn't successful, and said I had to go for a hysterectomy. So, but Apostle has said in the April Miracle Service that there's a woman watching. You have to go for a uterus removal. It's not going to happen. So when I went for my June, I tapped into that. I prayed on it. I said, God, that word is for me. I seized that word. And when I went for my June consultation, the surgeon said, surgery is no longer needed. There's another way. Yes. There's another way. The apostle always said there's a way out, there's a way out. And that's exactly what the surgeon said, there's another way. And my second and final miracle is, like I said, I was trusting God for tuition, and I was going to be enrolled from the program because I had not paid, I wasn't working. And that month in March, I also tapped into the miracle service, and one of my contractors paid me and gave me an extra $2,000 bonus. And I said, what is this for? He said, oh, for all your hard work in March. I said, I didn't work in March. I was in the hospital. I had 3 surgeries, 2 in the month of March. And she said, it's fine, take it, you're a hard worker. And I just remember that I was trusting God for my tuition. And I said, God, this is my tuition that you've just given me. I've just come to give God all the glory. I want to give God all the glory. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
Can we celebrate Jesus, Koinonia? Come on. I like the fact that at first, the doctors knew her for her sickness. Right? Like your situation can try to give you a name and identity, but God is going to make you to be known by your testimony. In Jesus' name.